I'm Steve Dangle, and you're listening to Stick to the Pod.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the podcast. We're going to jump straight into things, last weekend's results. Just the one league game on Saturday, but a couple of cup games, so we'll quickly skirt over them. We have the Northern Cup action, where the Blackburn Hawks lost in overtime to the Edinburgh Capitals 3-2. And a bit of a wild one in Widnes on Saturday as well, in the M56 Cup, with the Widnes Wild running out 10-8 victors over the Deeside Dragons. So into the main action of Saturday, and it was the top of the table clash between the Billingham Stars and the Solihull Barons. Straight away on the result, it was an 8-2 victory for the Stars. And the best thing about it is, from my point of view, Stars still haven't hit their top or their best form. Solihull, they huffed and puffed in the first period. A lot of huffing and puffing, didn't really take the chances that arose. They probably huffed and puffed a little bit more than what Billingham did in the first period. The Stars were there or thereabout, but they were clinical, much more clinical than the Barons. And I think at the end of the first period was something like 3-1, 3-0. From that moment, from the second period to the third period, the Stars just dominated. The Barons just didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be in a battle. They weren't up for the fight or for a top of the table clash. So it'll certainly be interesting to watch the Barons as they go on over the next few weeks, if that leaves any mental scars. Wasn't anything major talking points from the game. There was one big hit from Michael Elder on Nicholas Otterson, and he kind of went missing from that moment. Didn't really see much of him. I think the second line did a fantastic job in shutting that line down. I know Dan Mulcahy was missing due to suspension, but James Moss, equally as talented, if not an upgrade on Dan Mulcahy, was also missing for the Stars. So both teams can say they were missing key components to their roster. The goal scorers for the Stars: Sykes bagging 2, Gritans getting 3, young Stewie Jackson getting on the score sheet, James Helens getting on the score sheet, along with Alex Preston. And also notable from that night was the 6 assists from Captain Michael Elder in this game. Great performance, great leader. I wouldn't have anybody else as captain. He's a great captain, he's a true captain. And yeah, it was certainly the right choice from after the legend Paul Windridge retired. He was certainly the right choice after that. Just a fantastic performance. Leads on the ice, he leads off the ice. And he's clearly someone the lads respect and respond to. Chandler getting the 2 goals for the Barons. But yeah, an absolute clinical performance in front of net for the Billingham Stars. On to Sunday, and nothing really to report big game-wise. Widnes played Deeside again, this time in league action, with Deeside taking the points in league action. 4-2 victors: Walusiak, Dickinson, Parry and Howells. The Hawks made hard work of their game at home to the Lions. Blackburn Hawks 8, Nottingham Lions 4. That was quite a close game until late on. Goal scorers: Barnes 2, Royds 3, Watson, Riddick and Streetley. Yokoyama back on the score sheet for the Lions. Rushby and Somerton getting 2. But yeah, very close game for certainly the first couple of periods of that one. And then Hawks starting to move away with it. Certainly starting to see Adam Barnes on the score sheet a lot more than we did in the earlier parts of the season. Certainly he's either just hitting some form or he's finding a groove, and he's certainly putting in the puck in the net quite a lot now for the Hawks. So that kind of puts the league on notice with his form. The North East Derby, the Whitley Warriors and the Billingham Stars at the Hillheads Arena. It was an 8-1 victory on the road for the Stars. A solitary goal from Harry Harley for the Warriors. And again, for the Stars, the usual suspects. Another hat-trick this weekend for Roland's Gritans. Sykes on the board, Mike Elder on the board. And yeah, a couple of more goals from the third line. Emerson and Hall, and Ian Brown getting one late in the game for the 8th goal. But yeah, there's a lot of scoring depth at the moment for Billingham. I know I've mentioned over a fair few episodes that when you talk about this line or that line, like Deeside have got gun firepower, kind of not firing at the moment. I know they got the win at the weekend, but not getting the goals that you'd expect from that firepower. Solihull's firepower, as we'll see in the stats later on, Lots and lots of goals coming from that top line. However, Dan Mulcahy now missing. They're kind of not putting the puck in the net as much and as regularly as they were. And then you've got the Stars, top line. I had a message sent to me from NIHL, so thank you very much. He does a lot of the stats on elite prospects. He certainly puts the hard work in there. Try to keep that up to date, so thank you, NIHL. Your work is appreciated. Again, same for the guys over at NIHL Stats, where I get my fixtures and my league tables, and where a lot of the results get put. So thank you to the guys who run the NIHL Stats website. Your work is massive for guys like me who want to do this sort of thing, keeping guys and folk updated on the league. But we'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, the Stars are getting a lot of depth scoring. I think it was 145 points from the top line at the moment for Billingham Stars. But as you've just seen there, the goals scored over the weekend. Preston's getting goals. Lewis Hall's getting goals. Jack Emerson's getting goals. These are third and fourth line guys who don't probably get the coverage as they deserve, but they're chipping in, they're banging away, they're doing the dirty work, and they're getting their rewards. So yeah, so we'll just quickly run through those results. Again, from last weekend, it wasn't very many league games, just the 4 league games in total. So quickly, the 2 cup games that took place on the Saturday, the Northern Cup, which is the Hawks up in Scotland, they lost 3-2 to the Edinburgh Capitals. The M56 has kicked off with the Widnes Wild beating the Deeside Dragons 10-8. The league game on the Saturday, Billingham Stars beating the Solihull Barons 8-2. And Sunday's league action, Blackburn Hawks 8, Nottingham Lions 4, the Whitley Warriors 1, and the Billingham Stars 8, Widnes 2, and the Deeside Dragons 4. So yeah, that was last week. Certainly 2 big results for the Stars, kind of putting down a marker for the rest of the season. I think they've probably now got the target on their heads. They're the number 1 team. I think there's no denying that now. I think at first everyone was saying it's a wide open league, anyone can win it. But I think as you see, as we go through the table shortly, there's 1 or 2 teams kind of drifting away from the pack at the bottom. The table's starting to get much more grouped. Billingham do seem to be at the moment king of the tree. They're certainly playing the best hockey. They're being a lot more clinical than other teams. And that's pretty much what it's coming down to, as you see the results most weeks. Stars are putting the puck in the net, and it's quite well rounded. Whitley, they had their chances on Sunday. They just had no one to put the puck in the net. Hawks, I think obviously they went through their injury patch where they might have dropped a few results. Barons have hit a bit of a wobble. Billingham, yeah, I know it's only 1 game, but that's a big result. 8-2 is a big result against your title rival. So that brings us on to this weekend. So a couple of league games to start. Saturday, the 9th of December. Hull are at home against the Nottingham Lions. This is actually their first meeting this season, which is odd, as now we're into December. So I fully expect a home win for Hull, as we do most weeks. They get their results on home ice. I've just realised something. I have missed a fixture off on the back page, so do bear with me. On Sunday, Solihull Barons actually got back to winning ways against the Hull Jets, coming out 5-3 victors. Unfortunately, I don't have no scorers for that game. Just my own fault. I've completely forgot about the fixture in total. But yes, Solihull did get back to winning ways with a close-fought win against the Hull Jets, who, again, as we know, great at home, very, very poor away from home. And that continues for the Hull Jets. So yeah, the Solihull Barons coming out 5-3 victors on home ice against the Hull Jets. Sorry about that, guys, I missed that one. So straight back onto the fixtures. As I said, Hull versus Nottingham for the first time against each other this season. Widnes play Whitley Bay at Planet Ice Widnes. Whitley, I think, have currently 2 wins to 1 against Widnes. However, I think the last time Whitley went to Widnes, it was a 5-2 victory for the Wild. And with the Wild in form improving last weekend, yes, they got the loss on Sunday against a very good Deeside team. They also beat that very good Deeside team on the Sunday in a 10-8 victory. So Widnes will go into this fixture with a bit of confidence, I would reckon. Knowing that Whitley do have their scoring struggles, but it'll certainly be one to watch out for on Saturday. Moving on to the Sunday, and I'm going to start with the Whitley Warriors, because I think this is a huge game. I think it's a huge game for them, obviously, away to Widnes. a lot can happen for an away game. I mean, lads do work Saturdays and travel commitments and all that. Can't always be what you would like them to be as a fan. But the Warriors at home at Hillheads can be and should be a completely different beast altogether. And it's another long road trip for the Barons. And obviously with them going to Billingham last week and taking that heavy loss, it'll be interesting to see how well the Barons travel on Sunday and if they go into that game with a lot more intent than they did the Billingham game. The Deeside Dragons are home to the Sheffield Scimitars. I fully expect a Deeside win there. The Nottingham Lions are home to the Wild. So that will certainly be an interesting game, I think, back in Nottingham. And then the last fixture of the weekend, the Billingham Stars versus the Blackburn Hawks. And I think that's a huge, huge game again. If Billingham get that win, and depending on other fixtures and how they go and other results go, you can put a 6-point gap in or keep that gap to 4 points. Another gap is starting to be created in the league table, as we'll go through shortly. It's both teams have had a win each in each other's barns. Don't think each team's played each other at full strength yet, and I'm pretty confident that'll be the same again this weekend. Unfortunately, I don't think the Stars will be back at full strength. James Moss still out with a lower body injury, and I know a couple others did pick up knocks against Whitley Bay, so it'll depend on fitness tests and training this week for the Stars and see how they feel Sunday before they're going into the game, which is a shame because obviously everyone wants to see teams at full strength going head to head. And that's just the way it is, isn't it? People want to see teams at full strength going into battle, and then the best team always comes out on top. So yeah, I'll have a quick run through the fixtures again for this weekend. Saturday we have Hull versus Nottingham and Widnes versus Whitley. Sunday we have Billingham versus Blackburn, Deeside versus Sheffield, Nottingham versus Widnes, Whitley versus Solihull. So some big games there this weekend as we move into the Christmas break. And speaking of Christmas break, I will probably be doing one more episode early next week as I go away next week. I'm not quite sure how or what I'm going to do the week after. I don't know whether I'm just going to wish you all a Merry Christmas and I'll speak to you again in the new year, or if I do a little mid-season update as such. Yeah, no, like preview, see where we were from where we were at the start of the season. And see where we're at now and any shocks or any teams that were overachieving or underachieving. But we'll see. We'll see if I've got any room in the luggage for the equipment. But that's possibly what will happen. But I'll certainly try and get this weekend's out earlier in the week. Let's say I go midweek. It'll just depend on stuff happening at home and at work. But hopefully I'll get another episode out before I go away, and then it's just whether I take my equipment with me and do you a mid-season episode. So we'll jump over to the league tables. Just bear with me while this page loads up. What we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the cup table, I won't go through everything because it's kind of pointless, but we do have 3 teams confirmed at the moment. Billingham, Solihull and Blackburn are qualified at the moment as it currently stands at the time of speaking. Billingham Stars don't know their opponents yet, and the Solihull Barons take on the Blackburn Hawks currently. That a lot can change. The Barons can catch the Stars, so that changes that. And at the moment, Deeside do occupy that 4th spot, so that would be Billingham versus Deeside in the semi-final at the end of January. But the Warriors are hot on the heels. They're only a point behind. Hawks have one more game to play. That's not going to affect anything. I'm just trying to quickly look. So yeah, Deeside, Whitley and Hull are all in that battle for that final cup spot. Deeside have the advantage. They're currently in 4th, a point above Whitley and 2 points above Hull. I know one of Whitley's games is away to the Billingham Stars. I do know that one. So that could play in Deeside's favour. But more on that in the new year when we can get that confirmed. Now moving into the current league table for the Morley Conference. And as I was saying earlier, the table's starting to get little sections now. You can see who's where and who's what. So at the moment, Billingham Stars are top of the table. They've got a 4-point gap to 2nd place. Yeah, so Billingham Stars are top, played 17, 28 points. Here's the thing, 114 goals scored. and only 38 conceded. We've got the best goal scorer and the best defensive record at the moment, which would be quite pleasing for the Stars coaching staff. Solihull Barons in second on 24 points, so they do have a big weekend themselves coming this weekend. Hot on their heels, 2 points behind them is the Blackburn Hawks in third, only played 16 games and they're on 22 points. Fourth place, the Whitley Warriors, who've played more than anybody else. They're on 18 games played with 21 points. So the D-side Dragons are hot on their heels with 2 games in hand on them at the moment and only a point behind on 20 points. And this is where the table takes its first big change. In sixth place, the Hull Jets on 16 points, on 16 games played rather, with 15 points. And then another big drop to 7th place, Widnes Wild on 8 points. The Sheffield Scimitars in 8th on 7 points. And the Nottingham Lions in last place, 9th, with just the 6 points. So as we can see there, little sections are starting to build. So you could, for argument's sake, you say Billingham, 4 points clear there, are on their own at the top. And then the next few are grouped together in Solihull, Blackburn, Whitley and D-side. Then it drops down to Hull, and then the bottom 3 of Widnes, Sheffield and Nottingham. So I'm going to pull up the stats now. So again, thanks to NIHL. I'm just trying to find where I've put that. Right, yes. So do bear with me because there is a few South players in this, which he says there's not a lot you can do about. But to be fair, even through both divisions of North 1 and South 1, the top 10 is littered with North players. And to be fair, it is, as I'd expected, it's littered with Billingham and Solihull players, 1 from D-side, 1 from Hull. So at the top of the tree on 56 points in 17 games played is Nicholas Otterson, the Solihull Barons import, 31 goals, 25 assists for his 56. Second place is Billingham Stars import Roland Grittans on 16 games played on 50 points, 27 goals scored and 23 assists. The ever-present top of the tables Brit that we see season after season in the top of the charts, Chris Sykes of the Billingham Stars, 17 games played, 50 points, 21 goals, 29 assists. An area where his game has improved massively is the assist column. So then Michael Elder is next in regards to North 1. So that's basically the full Billingham line in second, third and fourth. He's played 17, 14 goals, 28 assists for 42 points. Fifth place is Phil Mackay, 17 games played for 39 points, 10 goals and 29 assists. Seventh place is the D-side Dragons Brodie Jesson, with 35 points, 13 goals and 22 assists. The third member of the Barons top line, currently suspended. In 8th place, Dan Mackay, 12 games, 31 points, 14 goals and 17 assists. 9th place is Richard Hagger of the Hull Jets, 16 games for his 26 points, 11 goals and 15 assists. And 10th place is the Blackburn Hawks, James Riddick, 9 goals, 17 assists for his 26 points in 16 games. So if I was to compare the two divisions, as it is naturally on the website, you do have Jack Goodchild and Sebastian Moore, who are both from Slough, I believe, in the south, who are in the actual top 10. So 8 players from North 1, 2 from South 1 make up the top 10 in points. You can see that both the two top lines of Billingham and Solihull are ever present in that. All 3 forwards of each team are in the statistics for points. Nicholas Otterson leading the way, and then closely followed by Roland Grittans, which then this did start a debate on NIHL North of who is the better import. Now someone went with Nicholas Otterson. Some have gone with Roland Grittans, bearing in mind Roland Grittans was a demon. So what's your thoughts? Who's the best player in the league? Is it one of these two guys, Nick Otterson or Roland Grittans? Is it one of the Brits? What's your thoughts? Let us know. Be interested to know. You can either leave me feedback on Twitter, now known as X, Facebook, and even on comments on YouTube, and by email at sticktothepod@gmail.com. I just want to say thank you to all the ones. I did have a flurry of subscriptions, or subscribers, I should say, to the YouTube channel last week. So I want to thank you again. If you can share it out to your friends, it's much appreciated. I am just trying to spread the word of our division, of our league, and our sport to a point, and that's all I'm here to do. So I just want to thank you very much for everything that you are doing, whether you're sharing things, liking things. It really is much appreciated. I never thought I'd have the interaction with some of you guys that I'm having. I generally just thought I'd be myself, talking into an empty space every week just for something to do, just so I could chance to talk hockey. But no, you guys have been wonderful. The interaction with you as well has been fantastic. So please continue sending your emails in, leaving your messages and your comments. I do try and get back to you, all of yous. It's not a lot of yous, but it is enough to keep me busy. What I'm going to do now actually is I'm going to jump on NIHL North 2, because some of you do request that we just go through the results of the ladling. So just the one game on Saturday, Coventry Blaze getting that shock victory over the Telford Tigers 5-4. So it made me look a bit daft last episode when I said I can see Telford not losing a game. But those few players that they have lost has obviously made a rather large impact. And then we move on to the Sunday. The Billingham Buccaneers having a 1-1 draw with that very confident Coventry Blaze side. I believe this came down to technical issues with the ice pad or the Olympia. I'm not quite sure which one it was. So that game was abandoned, but that result will stand. Also on the Sunday, Bradford Bulldogs lost out 7-10 to the Sheffield Titans. What a game that was, a 17-goal game. Nottingham Lions NIHL 2 hosted League New Boys Kingston Sharks, who Kingston came out 8-2 victors in that one. And then another huge high scoring game between the Telford Tigers NIHL 2 and the Altrincham Aces. That was a 9-8 victory for Telford. So that brings us to this weekend's fixtures. Kingston and the Coventry Blaze go at it in Hull. The Buccaneers sail to the Telford Tigers. On the Sunday, the Aces host Telford Tigers. The Sheffield Titans have an afternoon game with the Kingston Sharks. And that's it for the weekend's fixtures in NIHL 2. Just quickly load up the table and see what those results have done. So at the top, we have the Telford Tigers and the Sutton Sting, who are both on 28 points, with Telford now only having 2 games in hand. The Coventry Blaze pretty much cementing their third place position and catching the teams above on 25 points. That win against Telford, huge for them. The league's New Boys Billingham Buccaneers hanging around in 4th on 17 points. Then we have the Titans and the Aces both below them on 14 points and 15 games played. Bradford Bulldogs in 7th with 11 games played. The league's other New Boys picked up their second victory and sit on 4 points. In 8th are the Kingston Sharks. And then in 9th, it's the lowly Nottingham Lions NIHL 2 on 3 points, which is sad to see both Nottingham sides at the bottom of their divisions. So that pretty much covers it. Nothing really major talking point in the world of hockey. Major news coming from the IIHF, I suppose, was the implementation of neck guards. It's going to be compulsory, so it'll be interesting to see what the Elite League's next move is after they didn't make them compulsory. DOPS is quiet, I had a quick look, nothing to concern us or get us talking, so we'll just see what this weekend brings and we'll call that a wrap, and I'll speak to you guys early next week. Thank you very much.